You conquered much of Europe. So tell me, Emperor, what finally defeated Napoleon?
The same thing that created me, ambition. I was born on Corsica, an island that had only recently become French. I was Corsican before I was French. I learned early what it meant to belong and to stand apart.
Welcome to the Origins Unfolded podcast. Today's guest is Napoleon Bonaparte, a man who rose from a small Mediterranean island to reshape Europe. A general, an emperor, a man history still argues about. I don't want to ask historians about Napoleon. I want to ask Napoleon himself. You were born Corsican, but educated in France. Did France ever truly feel like home to you?
No, not then. In France, my accent made me foreign. My name made me Corsican.
So when you left Corsica for France, were you chasing opportunity or trying to find where you belonged?
At first, neither. I was simply finding my way. France taught me discipline. Mathematics taught me precision. Geography taught me to see the world differently.
So before ambition came strategy?
No, ambition was already there. Strategy simply gave it direction. Then France began to change. The old order was weakening, and suddenly men who had once been overlooked could be noticed. I did not create that opportunity, but when it appeared, I was prepared for it. Opportunity opened the door. Preparation helped me recognize it, and from that moment, I knew I had to keep moving forward.
How much of your journey came from preparation, and how much came from recognizing the right moment?
Both. Preparation helped me recognize the moment. Ambition helped me act on it. What I had learned in classrooms was only preparation. Eventually, I had to understand how those ideas worked in the real world. Then came Toulon. Until then, I had preparation and ambition. Toulon gave me something else, recognition. Recognition changes something. The same ideas people once overlooked suddenly begin to carry weight, and so does the person behind them. After Toulon, things moved quickly. New places, new faces, new expectations. I was changing faster than I realized.
You said you were changing. Did success change what you wanted, or did it change who you were?
At first, it changed what I wanted. Then, without noticing, it began changing what I believed I deserved. At first, recognition felt simple. More people knew my name. More rooms opened. More possibilities appeared. But attention has a strange effect. Eventually, you stop wondering whether people will notice you and start expecting that they will. And that may have been the first danger. The more certain I became of my own importance, the less often I questioned myself.
Is that how confidence becomes entitlement?
Perhaps. Confidence says, I can do this. Entitlement begins when you stop asking whether you should. I think the real change began when people stopped simply listening to me and started waiting for my answer. I wasn't the oldest man in those rooms, or the most experienced. What made the difference was how I looked at a problem, movement. I searched for what others had missed. Seeing an opportunity was never enough. An idea mattered only if others could understand it, test it, and see that it worked. In Italy, everything began moving faster. I learned that people did not need endless certainty. Sometimes they needed someone who could see a direction clearly. Success changed the room around me. Before long, I was no longer simply being heard. My judgment was beginning to shape what happened next. Eventually, influence meant more than being heard. I wanted ideas to outlast the moment, laws, institutions, systems that could remain long after the room had changed. But success has its own appetite. Each achievement changed my idea of what was possible, and slowly, what once seemed extraordinary began to feel insufficient. Then the scale changed. Distance tested every assumption. The conditions changed faster than expected, and certainty slowly began giving way to doubt. The hardest change was not losing certainty. It was realizing that the world could continue without waiting for my answer. For years, my world kept becoming larger. More rooms, more influence, more certainty. And then, eventually, my world became very small again.
If you could meet the young man you once were, would you tell him to chase the same greatness?
I would tell him to keep the ambition but question it more often. Greatness can build a legacy. It can also make you forget what it is costing you.
You conquered much of Europe. So tell me, Emperor, what finally defeated Napoleon?
The same thing that created me, ambition.
Maybe that is why Napoleon still fascinates us, not because he was simply great or flawed, but because his life shows how dangerously close ambition and consequence can become.
Power is temporary. Reputation changes. But some ideas survive the person who carried them. Perhaps that is the strangest kind of legacy.
After everything, the victories, the power, the mistakes, how would you want history to remember Napoleon?
Not for how much I possessed, but for what remained after I was gone. Judge the victories, judge the failures, but judge what changed too. But history does not belong to the person who lived it. You can shape your choices, but you cannot choose what future generations will make of them.
Comment down below. What do you see when you look at Napoleon? A genius who rose because he refused to accept limits? Or a man who fell because he stopped believing he had any? If you enjoyed unfolding this story with us, like the video and subscribe to Origins Unfolded, because our next guest has an equally incredible and interesting story.